Hi, welcome to Asia in Review at Think Tech Hawaii. I'm your host, Jiang, Associate Professor of Geography at UH-Manoa. And my guest today is Mr. Grant Kim from UH-Manoa's Shidler College of Business. And today's topic is building U.S. international business capacity at UH-Manoa. Mr. Grant Kim is Associate Director for the Pacific Asian Management Institute at the Shidler College of Business at UH-Manoa. And he is also Associate Director for the UH Center for International Business Education and Research, Project Manager for the UH Pacific Asian Consortium for International Business Education and Research, and he leads the faculty and student field study programs and other international business projects. From 1987 through 1996, Mr. Kim was a financial industry consultant for NCR AT&T, working on strategic business and information technology initiatives, where he attained the AT&T Consistent Achiever Award, great achievement. Since 1997, Mr. Kim has had great many experiences in business management, marketing, and customer relations in Korea, Taipei, Kuala Lumpur, among other places. And he came to the Shidler College of Business in 2002. So, Grant, if I may call you Grant, you are just the right person to lead this international outreach program at UH-Manoa, the Shidler College of Business. You must have an exciting life.
It's okay. Keeps you busy.
That's right. I heard you just came back from Southeast Asia not long ago.
Yeah, we ran a faculty development program where we take faculty on a field study to Southeast Asia. This year we went to Vietnam, visiting Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. We took 16 faculty on tour of business and industry for them to learn about doing business in Vietnam.
So wow, that's great. And we're going to learn more about that. I know there are quite a few different projects you are leading. And so maybe we can go through the different ones. The first one over here, you are the Associate Director for the Pacific Asian Management Institute. So can you tell us about that?
The Pacific Asian Management Institute, we'll just shorten it by PAMI, is an umbrella organization within the Shidler College of Business, and we're responsible for internationalizing the college. So we have, under this umbrella, we have we call it a Center for International Business Education and Research, CYBER. That is a federal funded program. Where we compete every 4 years for federal funds with other international business centers at other colleges. So we've been a cyber center for the last, since 1988. We're one of the first 6 cyber centers. Now there's 33 from business schools all over the U.S. Another portion of this umbrella is our PACYBER, that's the Pacific Asian Consortium for International Business Education and Research, and we're the founding member and secretariat of that. We have 30 somewhat schools from across the Asia-Pacific region in that network. And we also run a PAMI, Pacific Asian Management Institute program, so we run a program in international management, and we also run this Asia field study and the microfinance field study, which we'll be discussing later.
So this seems to be the umbrella under which a lot of the initiatives are going on involving faculty and students, right?
Yes, a lot of acronyms.
I know. I was reading your work there, so oh my God, I need to remember all of these. Of course, I don't. So, producer, can we bring up slide number 1? And that is the Shidler College of Business, the PAMI, that's Pacific Asian Management Institute. Tell us more about some of the key programs that not these other programs we're going to focus individually, but what are the kind of general activities you have? What do you do as associate director?
I make coffee, I clean the
That's a good
windows,
one.
and
We need that as well.
we have a lot of constituents. Students, of course, are a primary constituent, both graduate and undergraduate. We also have the business community. We have faculty, and we try to outreach to as many as we can using the federal funds that we have. One of the main programs that we run during the summertime is our International Management Certificate, where students, what they can do is they take 3 international business courses. They attend a series of our international business lectures. We bring in about 8 lecturers, business practitioners, academicians from all over Hawaii, from the US, from all over Asia Pacific region to talk on various topics of international business. So if they attend a certain amount of those lectures, finish those classes satisfactorily, then they get a nice certificate in international management.
Oh, wow.
And these lectures are open to the public. We advertise it in various media, so we usually get about 30 to 50 in attendance from all over, all walks of life. We have our students, of course, our faculty attend, as well as the Hawaii business community.
It's interesting to see that you are connecting also with the business community. I suppose that's good for both the students, faculty, in terms of getting the applied side of your work, and also for the business, because they then have access to your smart students who are going to be graduating.
And Hawaii is just such a small community that we have executive MBA students who are in the community. We have faculty who are in the community too. So in Hawaii, it's just a close network. You invite one group, you invite them all.
So the Pacific Asian Management Institute, when did it start? PAMI. When did it start?
Well, it was a brainchild of Professor Chung, Paul Chung. He started in 1977, so it was one of the first of the kind in the nation, focusing specifically on the Asia Pacific region. So it's over 35 years or so old. And what we do is, in honor of Professor Chung, we have a memorial luncheon lecture every year where we bring in a keynote speaker. We had such speakers as the general manager for Lenovo Beijing when they were going through the Lenovo IBM merger. We brought in, last summer, we brought in the CFO from Volkswagen Shanghai.
Oh, wow.
So we bring in some notable people over the years, and in honor of this program that has been going on since 1977.
So this program, would you say this is one of the first programs in the U.S. That really internationalizes business and business education?
For what we know, it was one of the first of its kind. A lot of these programs, like the Asia Field Study Program, started in 1983 by Professor K.K. Sale. So we just celebrated the 30th anniversary of that last year. And that was, to our knowledge, was the first of its kind, doing a field study for students, taking students on tour of industry throughout Asia. You have to imagine how it was like back in the late 70s and early 80s to be talking about doing business and how businesses run in such countries as China and Japan, which is drastically different today.
That you were really the pioneer. I mean, that the Shidler College of Business is a pioneer in terms of reaching out to Asia. I guess probably because of, or partly because of Hawaii's location. The countries you tend to, the name here, Pacific Asian Management Institute. So you focus on the Asia Pacific area and bring those kind of businesses in.
Yes.
Can you tell us, you mentioned some of the major kind of lecturers you've invited. From your memory, you've been at UH-Manoa since 2002. What are some of the most exciting events that took place at PAMI?
Well, The Asia Field Study is one of our flagship programs.
Maybe we can have you talk about this Asian Field Study program.
Okay, because it's a life-changing experience for the students. Rarely do they have a chance to travel abroad to 4 or 5 countries at a time and gain access to executives within businesses that normally don't open their doors to the public. And these immersion type of programs, very experiential, is I believe what we try to focus a lot of our resources on because of the impact it has. I've been running this program it took over from KK Seo in 2006. And these students, they're in the Hawaii business community, and they still remember specific instances and things, how it changed their lives. Our ultimate goal, of course, is to help U.S. business, Hawaii business, internationalize themselves, but it also changes them in other ways.
Let's look at like 2006 when you took over. And how many programs, how many countries did you go then? How many countries do you go now with the students?
Since it's not only me, I like to give a lot of credit to Professor Jack Siderhout. He's my what we call him partner in crime. That we've been doing this together. Couldn't have done it without him. And the format has stayed relatively same, but the whole perspective, we have very similar philosophies. Going back to KK Seo, he chose certain countries because of the diversity, and we try to follow similar suit. So we usually start off in a developed economy, so we start off in Tokyo or Seoul. Then we move to somewhere in China. So we rotate between Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. And then we go on to a random country. And we give the students some input into that of what country they would like to go to. And we typically end up in Vietnam, where we rotate between Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. So in that random country, we've done such countries as India, where we went to Delhi and Bangalore. We went to Kuala Lumpur to study Islamic business. We've been to Indonesia, going to Jakarta and Surabaya. And this upcoming summer, we're going to Manila as that country to learn about business in Manila.
Well, it sounds really exciting. I wish I could go.
Yeah, you're welcome.
These are mainly summer programs or during the semester?
Run during the summer term.
I see.
So it's a 6-credit course, so the students need to devote basically the entire summer session to attend this program.
All these places you're talking about is one course?
Yes.
Oh.
And it's basically set up, it's a 6-credit course. Roughly 3 credits is a typical classroom type of setting. This is where we prep students prior to the trip on what to expect. So say this upcoming year we're going to be going to Japan, China, Philippines, and Vietnam. So we would have 8 3-hour sessions before the trip, and we bring in guest speakers, executives who worked in these countries before, so that this really helps the students get one foot in the door already of being in Japan, being in China, being in Vietnam by hearing these locals.
The prep courses are done here in Honolulu?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then they get ready and then go out?
Yes, so it's a traditional classroom course, but we've been integrating, we have a program called the Distance Learning Executive MBA program. And most of these are executives working on the neighbor islands. So what we do is we actually have a technical platform where they sit in front of their computer and we can all see each other and we conduct class that way.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So we're going to take a short break. This is Asia in Review at Think Tech Hawaii. I'm your host, Jiang, and we've been discussing building U.S. international business capacity at UH-Manoa. We will be right back after this short break.
Castle & Cook, Hawaii. Investing in Hawaii, creating communities, and providing for the needs of our state. Collateral Analytics. Empowering the real estate industry to make better informed property investment decisions. The Foreign Trade Zone. Bringing the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone programs to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. Galen Ho, a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company. Hawaiian Electric Company and its affiliates Maui Electric and Hawaii Electric Light Company on Hawaii Island. The Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, incorporating diverse perspectives to design a flexible and forward-looking energy strategy. Hawaii Energy, the state's energy and efficiency program created to help Hawaii's residents and businesses adopt a clean energy lifestyle. Hawaii Gas, helping Hawaii achieve its transition to clean energy and a better energy future. Hawaii Pacific Health, bringing technology and teamwork together to transform healthcare in Hawaii. The High Tech Development Corporation, attached to DBED, is the state's leading technology agency. The Shidler Family Foundation, supporting educational, cultural, and charitable organizations, including Think Tech.
Hi, we're back. We're live. This is Asia in Review at Think Tech Hawaii, coming to you from Pioneer Plaza at downtown Honolulu. I'm your host, Jiang, and we've been speaking with Mr. Grant, on building U.S. international business capacity at UH-Manoa. So before the break, we were just talking about this exciting Asian field study program that you co-lead over there. So tell us more, especially in terms of the places they go to, who they meet.
Okay.
Sounds really, really interesting and fascinating.
Okay, yeah. We typically, it's a 3-week course, on-site course, and we go to 4 to 5 cities, and in each city we spend roughly four nights there, and we devote 2 days to full-day site visits. So we're visiting various companies, factories, embassies, and then 1 day we spend for cultural visits. So in each city you have your default things, tourist things that you go to, and 1 day for traveling to the next city and just somewhat relaxing.
So it's a very busy trip when you're out there.
When the students get back and when I get back, we sleep for the whole week.
So producer, can we bring up slide number 2? This is one of the photos taken from Asian Studies, our Asian field study program over there. Sound like a big group of people and a very interesting trip there. Give me an example. Let's say you are talking about going to Tokyo, or Seoul, or China. What are the particular kind of places you visit? Let's say China, that's where I'm more familiar with.
Okay.
Where do you go? Do you go to Beijing, and who do you contact with?
Well, I'll speak about the picture. I think that's a curious thing. So that picture was taken at Samsung Electronics.
Okay.
So like I mentioned earlier, we typically go to either Seoul or Tokyo as our first site. So last summer in 2013, we went to Seoul as our first stop, and we visited Samsung Electronics. So their corporate headquarters, they're out in Suwon, about an hour or so outside of Seoul. And we got to see their operations, their latest products, these giant, enormous flat screen TVs, so thin, and all of their latest products, gadgets, what have you. And what was interesting is that we almost every time we go to Seoul, we visit Samsung Electronics. So dating all the way back to 2006. And to see the change from 2006 to 2013, we somewhat, I mean, we weren't really taking them too seriously back in 2006 when their executives would say, Sam, and you gotta put yourself back into 2006 shoes.
That's right.
We are gonna be the #1 electronics company in the world. We're gonna be.
Oh, you guys are joking.
We're gonna be better in quality than Sony.
That's interesting.
And this is back in 2006.
Wow.
But when we visited there last year in 2013, it's real. You know, it's real.
Interesting, yeah.
I mean, when you choose a TV set now, one of these big flat screen TVs, back at home I still have a bubble tube, which my children are pretty upset at, but it's real. It's real. They are one of the world's leading companies. So in Seoul, we visited Samsung Electronics. We visited POSCO, which was one of the world's largest steel producers. So in the past, we couldn't go there because it's so far away. But now with all the high-speed rails in Seoul, South Korea, and China, these kind of places, these far-off factories are relatively easy to get to now. So we actually visited a steel factory where you can see steel being made. It's just an incredible sight. And just visually and just to feel the heat of a steel bar coming down the line. I mean, it almost feels like it's going to burn your eyebrows off.
Wow. That's a really kind of a, exciting fieldwork experience that in any field of study, you would want to have that. I'm from geography, and I can almost imagine this to be like a geography fieldwork. If somebody's studying economic geography, you go there, you see how things have been changing and everything. So that's really fascinating. It must have taken a lot of effort to make the connections ahead of time.
That's one thing about our college is we really have good connections throughout the Asia-Pacific region. Hawaii is one of the leaders in establishing all of these connections. I'm sure you know of all the China stories of the groundwork being laid by a lot of the Hawaii Chinese businessmen and women.
That's right, yeah.
We leverage all these connections as good as we can. So for each of these site visits, unlike a lot of universities where they sub it out to these firms that specialize in leading these field studies, we actually arrange it ourselves. And by doing so, it gives the students a better experience because they're dealing with executives, people running the business versus the PR person where these outsourced companies work with. And
that's right.
It's mutually beneficial because these are our alumni, long lost alumni that they go.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe you have more. Hawaii has more alum than other places in the Asian Pacific area.
And so it really leverages our relationships and brings these networks back into Hawaii. There's a lot of Shidler graduates out there. There's a lot of East-West Connection graduates.
That's right.
And some of my past business connections when I was working in Asia. So it's always good to see them too.
So, wow, that's fascinating. Where did you go in Beijing?
In Beijing, we visited with an entrepreneur. Really, there's, as you know, in China, it's so dynamic. I mean, things change on a dime. And things are just done on such a big, massive scale. So we met up with one of these entrepreneurs who's starting off leveraging this sort of technology that takes the barcode onto, the QC code onto the next dimension. So he's starting this, and he's actually well on his way to building a big company. Another company we visited with was Beijing Dentsu Advertising, which was one of the top advertising companies in China. Ironically, they're headquartered out of Japan, Tokyo, but have been extremely successful in the China market. So we visited with their operations to see how they operate. How does a Japanese company operate in China? And to see how they adapted, how they understood the Chinese market, and how they work with both multinational and Chinese local companies to, develop their marketing campaigns, develop ads, develop promotions. And the guy that we know personally, he's in charge of the creative. So he would show all his advertisements, his video clips, 30-second videos, which is really fascinating to see what appeals to the Chinese consumer versus what appeals to the U.S. or Japanese consumers, and how they change their ads to customize per each market.
So students are getting this complete education about business operation, even like marketing, advertising. What would be a different kind of taste and how to do target a different population. That's really interesting. Yeah. So is it almost like these CEOs of these big companies, they are the instructor for your students there?
Yes. Wow. They get to hear things firsthand, and
that's right.
It's really exciting opportunity for them.
Wow. So the entire visit will be just like 4-5 days per country. You get this whirlwind for travel that will complete in like 2 weeks.
2.5, roughly three weeks.
3 weeks, okay.
Yeah, so in Beijing, so those are some of the sites we would visit. Then on our 2 days of pretty intensive full-day site visits, then we go 1 day. Of course, when you're in Beijing, what do you need to see?
I guess the Forbidden City, the Great Wall.
There's a big wall out there.
That's
so
right.
You gotta drive out to see the wall.
That's right, yeah.
But we do unique things. We don't go to the Badaling section.
Okay.
We go to the Mutanyu area.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's a lot more experiential.
That's right, yeah.
Where you catch a cable car up and you can ride the luge down.
That's right, yeah.
So a lot more fun for the students, and Forbidden City.
How big was your group in the last summer?
We cap it at 25 students.
These are all UH-Manoa students?
Yes. It's Manoa students, most of them in the Shidler College of Business.
Okay.
I would say about 3/4 are going to be from our executive MBA program, and some of our part-time MBAs, some full-time MBAs, some MACs, and some of our undergraduate students.
Do you have to kind of screen some people out of the program?
There's an application process that we go through. So it's you have to put in a resume, you put in your essay of why you want to go. We look at your grades, and there's a certain vetting process, because what we don't want to happen is they go on this trip as a boondoggle, because it's negative for the rest of the group, and it just not very respectful for site visit hosts who they're not in the business of entertaining our group. They're in the business of running a business. So we want to show respect to them for taking their time, and we want everybody there to be very, very serious. So things like the dress, we make sure that we are dressed properly for each site visit. So if we're going in an office, a site, say, Samsung or Beijing Dentsu, we would dress in full business suits.
Wow.
And this is in the heat of the summer.
Oh my God.
So we are going in July, and we're wearing, and Hawaii people too, so you see this perfect storm of Hawaii people who wear suits, wearing full business suits in the heat of the summer in the hottest countries
Yeah.
in Asia during the summer.
And do the local workers there wear suits like that, or only the visitors do?
They do, because to them we're foreign guests that they
Okay.
try to, it's all about face.
That's right. Yeah.
So especially in East Asia, when you're in Korea, Japan, China, so much is about face, and you want to look good
Yeah.
to show respect for your other party. So
That's right.
these are a lot of the things that we teach our students before they go on the trip is, I know the suits are uncomfortable. You're going to be sweating like you've never sweated before, but we have to do this. I mean, things like your dress and gifts, exchange of gifts, we make sure that we bring things unique to Hawaii that really shows that we are appreciative of them taking their time.
Wow, this is a kind of a complete education, not just business, but also about culture, interacting with the people. And I wonder whether the hardest part is to wear the suit in a big, hot day as part of the trip. So we're coming to the next commercial break. This is Asia in Review at Think Tech Hawaii, and I'm your host, Jiang. We've been talking about building U.S. international business capacity at UH-Manoa. We will be right back.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for Think Tech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
Hello, we're back. We're live, coming to you from downtown Honolulu. This is Asia in Review at Think Tech Hawaii. I'm your host, Jiang, and we've been speaking with Grant Kim from UH-Manoa's Shidler College of Business, talking about building U.S. international business capacity at UH-Manoa. So we were just talking about those exciting moments of Asian field study program that you have, you're running every summer. So you also talk about going to Vietnam. Is that new?
Since we took it over, Professor Seiderhout and I, we made it a point to integrate Vietnam typically as our last stop in the program because it is a developing economy. And the reason we go there is we actually have a executive MBA program running in both Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, where executives from various companies in Vietnam attend. So we have a mix of local Vietnamese, some expats there running in multinational companies as well as local companies, state-owned enterprises. So it is a powerful connection that we have. And,
Oh wow, I can definitely see
the
that.
choice of site visits that we have and access to our students who are executives there,
Wow.
some CEOs, deputy chairmen of these companies. So we have a choice of we've been to Vietnam Brewery, the biggest, the state-run telephone company, the state-run auditing company. It's just fantastic, and we always make it a point to include Vietnam in our program.
Just a side question, when you have this executive MBA program in Vietnam, do those CEOs, executives, do they take courses in Hawaii, or do they do business course at home there in Vietnam?
Professor Tong Bui runs this program and does an excellent job. Basically, it's an 18-month program, and we send our faculty to Vietnam.
Oh, I see.
So they spend roughly 10 days there on site to complete a course. Before that, they're doing a lot of online work. They're doing their assignments. They do a lot of Skyping. Before they come on site, they're on site intensive for 10 days straight, and then they leave and do some more Skype and do some wrap up.
I see.
So each module, each course is run like that over the 18-month period. So in essence, they're getting a U.S. Asia Pacific education from our well-qualified and experienced faculty.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. So the students who go through these field studies, having all these experiences, do some of them actually get jobs in some of these Asian Pacific countries?
Some do, but the majority of them, because about 3/4 of our students are executive MBAs, so they already have really good positions here in the local economy.
I see.
And what you see happening is that they're actually infusing a lot of this learning into their operations and how they think.
I see.
So it is making that kind of impact.
As part of your Asia outreach field study program, you also have this microfinance program, and that's to South Asia. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And producer, can we bring up slide number 3? Go ahead.
The microfinance field study is very different than the Asian field study. I mean, it's similar in terms of it's experiential, you're on the ground, you're in that country. But the Asia field study is aimed for typical business, multinationals, some entrepreneurial activity, but your typical, white collar, blue collar type of job. The microfinance field study is based on the concept of the Grameen model, with Muhammad Yunus, and working with microfinance enterprises. So it's like a bottom of the pyramid philosophy.
So in a way that the Asian field study goes on the top, and this microfinance go to the bottom of the society.
Yes, somewhat. It's the philosophy is empowering those in poverty to be sustainable. So students there, you do not bring suits.
Oh, okay, that's right. You probably go to a lot of rural areas, right?
Yes, they're in. We concentrate in 2 areas, and this is done by Professor Bawook, Darun Bawook. So all the credit and hats off to him for running it. We just do some logistical things in the background, and it is based on businesses running off these microloans, and microloans run from anywhere from $20 up to maybe $500 maximum. And how they start enterprises with just these small amounts. So you see a microloan for say $50, that person buys a cell phone. $100 they buy a pregnant sow and start a pig operation. And then they go through some of the Grameen, slightly bigger funded organizations where corporations join in, such as Dan and Yogurt works with Grameen Bank on running a yogurt manufacturing plant, and working off of the same philosophy.
It's interesting, students are really having these variety of experiences, and from the largest company, the advanced company, to these local companies helping out the not so well-to-do people running a small business over here. So when students go to the field to do microfinance field study, do they go there as an observer or talk to the local people? How did it work?
It's very, very hands-on. So they're going out to the villages. It's logistically, when we're planning things out, we're basing things on vans. So 6 to 8 person vans, because you need you cannot take a bus out onto dirt roads to get out to this remote village.
I see.
2-3 hours outside the city. So we base it off of these smaller vans that can access these areas, and they're out with the villagers, going into their huts, seeing how they operate businesses.
Oh, I see.
I believe that picture that is up there is just a typical village that they would visit. That it's very community oriented.
That's
You
right,
have the
yeah.
head of the village, the village chief, manage these microloans.
Oh wow, that's an amazing variety of things that the students get the chance to do. So we're going to take our last break. This is Asia in Review at Think Tech Hawaii. I'm your host Jiang, and we'll be talking about building U.S. international business capacity at UH-Manoa. We'll be right back after this short break.
Aloha, I'm Maria Kashem of Think Tech Hawaii, and I want to tell you about our Think Tech talk shows. If you didn't know it, Think Tech streams video and audio for all of its shows live on the internet from 2 to 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon, and we replay them all night long on ustream.tv. Visit thinktechhawaii.com for our live stream and YouTube links. Raise your awareness on Think Tech. I'm Maria Kashem, and I'll see you there.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel of ThinkTech. We have some news for you. In addition to our ThinkTech TV show and our Asia in Review show on Olelo 54, as of January 1st, we're adding Community Matters to play also 2 hours a week. Check out thinktechhawaii.com for the specific times of each of these shows. We hope you enjoy all three. Mahalo, I'm Jay Fidel.
Hi, we're back. We're live. This is Asia in Review at Think Tech Hawaii, and we've been speaking with Grant Kim on building in U.S. international business capacity at UH-Manoa. So thank you so much, Grant, for this great opportunity to learn about this diversity of programs that the UH-Manoa Shidler Business School or College is offering. I understand you came back from Southeast Asia. That's from the Southeast Asian Faculty Development Program, right?
Yes.
In recent time. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And producer, can we bring up the slide number 4?
And what this program is, it's part of that cyber network, this federally funded network. So there's 33 other cybers. About a dozen of us, we run these faculty development trips. And to leverage our resources, each cyber specializes in an area where they have expertise. So we handle the Southeast Asia portion because we have expertise and networks there, where Colorado would run the China program, Connecticut would run the Australia program, Minnesota would run the Scandinavia program, South Carolina runs the Africa and Middle East program. So we do the Southeast Asia program, and this program focuses on faculty. So the people that go on these field studies, it's very similar to the Asia field study for our students, but it's designed for faculty.
And this will be faculty from all these different, like 33 cyber centers?
Yes, so we have faculty from Columbia, Duke, USC, Wisconsin. And actually Wisconsin is our partners on this. So we co-host this Southeast Asia Faculty Development Program with the University of Wisconsin. And but unlike the Asia Field Study, where we focus on the diversity of economies, this one we're focused on a specific country. So every other year we do Vietnam, and that's where I just came back from Vietnam. We've done Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia also in the past.
Do you do something similar to the Asian field study program? You visit these different businesses and talk to them. Is that how it happens? What else do you do?
It's very similar to the Asia field study, but it's a lot more deeper in Vietnam. So we would spend 3-4 days doing site visits on various companies in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. In Ho Chi Minh City, we would focus on foreign direct investment. So we would go to companies such as Nike, who has massive factories in Vietnam. We'll go to Intel, which is Intel's largest plant worldwide that they built right outside of Ho Chi Minh City. And while in Hanoi, we would focus on their transition from state-owned enterprise. So we would visit these state-owned enterprise. And year after year, you see gradual changes in terms of moving from the state-owned enterprise model to more of an open, free, competitive model, which is quite interesting to see over time. But this is geared toward business school faculty, and we view it as a way to really build capacity in the U.S. Business school system, because these faculty share it with their faculty and their students, which multiplies, versus just going straight to the student where you have not as much exponential impact.
That's right. Yeah. So let's let's bring up slide number 5. We have a few minutes to wrap up. This is a PA Cyber. Tell me the PA Cyber again.
We call it. There's a lot of acronyms in our world.
This is another related program, basically.
But this is actually something. It's actually independent. We started this back in 1988 as a consortium of business schools across the Asia Pacific region. So we divided up by regions. We have, within PACYBER, we have the Americas, we have East Asia, Southeast Asia, and Oceania. And these are the top business schools in each of these areas. So in Southeast Asia, we have such schools as University Kebangsaan, Malaysia, Chulalongkorn in Thailand, Singapore Management University in Singapore. In Oceania, we have University of Auckland, University of Otago. In Australia, we have University of New South Wales, University of Sydney, and so forth. Then we have our East Asia with a bunch of Korean, Japanese, Chinese universities there. And then we have the Americas, where some of our cyber members participate in this. So we have San Diego State University, University of Wisconsin, University of Memphis, and Columbia, who are both cyber and PACYBER members. But it's a very, very powerful network, because especially on 2 areas. One area is the research side. When you do joint research, you have access to these markets. So you can say you wanted to do comparative studies of East Asia, Southeast Asia, and the US. You have the members there.
That's right. Immediately you have this direct access already. Producer, let's bring up slide number 6. That's actually what I meant to have shown. You can look at all these different photos over there. That's part of this PA Cyber. And we have just 2 minutes to wrap up before we need to finish this show. And just a quick question about expanding these capacities. Apparently, this is serving a great program there, but the number of students being served and the faculty being served is probably still kind of limited. Is there plans to expand these to allow more people to benefit?
It's very difficult, because you have that balance of breadth versus depth, and if you want to make an impact, you really need that depth, and it's very difficult from a funding perspective, because especially for our local students, most of them work to pay their tuition, and paying thousands of dollars to go on these trips, and the opportunity cost of being away from work is really difficult.
That's true.
So in an ideal world, we would like to have a lot more scholarships available, which are coming in. The Freeman scholarships, Freemans are based here locally. We have the Johnsons alumni who also have a scholarship. So they set these up for students not to go particularly on the Asia field study, but to do these kind of exchanges and have these similar types of experiences.
Well, that's great. And again, this is Asia in Review at Think Tech Hawaii, and we'll be speaking with Grant Kim from UH-Manoa's Shidler College of Business and talking about building U.S. international business capacity at UH-Manoa. Exciting opportunities available at the Shidler School, College of Business. And thank you so much, Grant, for coming
welcome.
to speak
Thank
to
you,
us
Hong.
about this.
My pleasure.
And this is Asia in Review. I'm your host, Jiang, and I want to thank our production team. I want to also thank you, our viewers, for tuning in. I'll see you next Tuesday at Asia in Review. Thank you and goodbye.